The release date for Special Limited set is coming out very soon, and with it is a whole bunch of cards that were highly requested reprints, powerful new staples, and the contents of old tournament packs that we just got.
Huh?
The original idea was to combine LM3 and LM4 into one complete product for the West, but Bandai decided, we're going to make a couple small changes here and there and remove some cards originally included, piecing them out into Event Pack 7 and Participant Pack Wave 3 2024 for prizing as regionals and Ultimate Cup events. I don't get it. With that aside, let's go over this new set's content and see if any of this is worth the price. Okay, so first I want to talk about the reprints that are included in this set, and these ones that you're seeing on screen are available in Event Pack 7 or the Participation Pack. Now, the key difference between the ones found in the event packs and the participation packs versus this is that these ones are textured. Ooh, they aren't stamped as well if you care about that kind of stuff. But really, if you're looking for copies of any of these cards, I guess the really important one would be DeathX. You can get them elsewhere. Like, you don't have to buy this. I don't understand why Bandai decided that these were the ones that had to be double printed, but I guess they had to make a choice somewhere. I guess they didn't want to include 3 secret rares in the event packs, so they decided to split them up. Anyways, Bandai makes the decisions and we just kind of have to live with it sometimes. But I do want to talk about the secret rares for a bit longer. So starting off, let's talk about DeathXmon, which I think is a fantastic reprint. Yes, it was included in the event pack, but I think DeathXmon is always going to be a staple card, being used in whenever a wide format comes in. So stuff when Nuemon was crazy, this is a good tech card. So whenever there's a wide board format, I think DeathX will always have a place. And while it is a secret rare, it has held its value pretty well. So having more of these out in the wild is great. So even if there's the event pack non-textured and now this textured version, it's just great to have out there. Thank you, Bandai, for looking out for us broke boys. Great inclusion. Oh hey, look, it's the other level 7 secret rare that everyone loves to run, Shinegreymon Ruin Mode, which I think is also another fantastic reprint and is probably the main reason why you should be picking this up, because again, this alongside DeathX I think are 2 great values. Again, another great inclusion. Oh hey, look, another secret rare. What are the odds? And this one being the Quantumon that was included as part of BT15 when they combined LM1 into the set. I think this one deserves a alt art because the original art is just a screenshot from Ghost Game, I think, or it could be an original screenshot. Point being, it's a PNG and I think this card deserves better, and I think this gorgeous art is totally worth it. While it's not as generic as Ruin Mode or DeathX, I do think this card has its place, and more copies of it being out in the wild is even better, especially because BT15, the pull rates for this were a bit lower than the other secret rares. Good inclusion. So now I just praised Bandai for having all these cards as part of the set. Nope, it's not. You're actually only guaranteed 2 of them per box. So you best hope you get the DeathX or the Shinegreymon Ruin Mode. Unless you're me looking for Sistermons, a lot of these other cards might not be as useful. Yeah, thanks Bandai for that one. But moving on, there are some more reprints that are included. And they're just reprints from the tournament pack we just got over the summer. Did Bandai really think, gee whiz, people need those promo Wanyamons for nature spirits? Okay, I get it, you ship the deck with the eggs separately and you want people to have it because you think this deck is great and you want everyone to play their tier 3 greatness that is nature spirits, but I'm sure there's enough out there for people to have, and there's a new one coming on EX8 too, so it's not like people can't play the deck without it. The only card I think is good here is the promo Digimon Liberator card that searches out anything for Liberator decks. I mean, yes, there still hasn't been a tier 1 Liberator deck, but don't worry, soon. That's my promise to you guys. I hope, at least. Okay, so quick rant. I know Bandai took out a lot of the stuff for Event Pack 7, but did they need to take out all the good reprints? Couldn't they have just taken half of like the Event Pack and make it for the TP stuff instead? Like throw in the Wanyamon, the Minomon. Because of how they did it, we ended up missing out on guaranteed Protoform and other staple cards like Quartzmon and Analog Youth, which I think would have been really important to have, especially because EX1 is such a long time ago, and Analog Youths are kind of hard to come by nowadays. But don't worry, Bandai was extra nice to us, and they made sure we got the reprints of DeathX, Chaos Dramon, and Imperial Dramon Dragon Mode because we just needed those ones to be double printed. Like, come on Bandai, it wasn't even that hard. You could just commission some new art for those cards and kept the original like colored bordered ones for Event Pack 7 and then have some more alt arts that you could have tossed into this. But hey, what do I know? I'm not a multi-billion-dollar company that can just make cards and print them out. Rant aside, let's start off by talking about some of those new cards that are included in LM3 and LM4, and let's go with the aces first. Up first, we have our level 7 red ace, Agumon Bond of Bravery, which digivolves from a red level 6 for the cost of 3, or digivolves from a Agumon for a cost of 3 if you have 2 or fewer security. It has the on-plane digivolving, delete up to this Digimon's DP's total worth of your opponent's Digimon, meaning delete everything as long as it adds up to less than the total DP of this Digimon. It's got the when attacking, once per turn, if you have a tamer, trash the top card of your opponent's security. And Overflow 5. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, a new bond card, and this one is a really cool ace, allowing you to warp off an Agumon when your security is low, and it's only for the low cost of 3 memory. so there's no need now for that BT6 tie. You can just warp as long as security is low. Additionally, the DP deletion is really good as most of your Agumon will give you a DP buff anyway, so you can get that damage threshold even higher. So long as you can do basic math, you're basically solid. Yeah, I can do basic math. Oh, and also this card takes really good advantage of BT17 Greymon, as its Greymon counts the names of level 3s and it has, so you can warp off of that. It also gives a DP buff as well, so you can pop even more things. And I completely forgot about the one attacking effect. As long as you have a Tamer out, you can just trash your opponent's top security, allowing you to go for a game at 1 security. This card is definitely solid. Oh, look at that. We also have a Gabumon, Bond of Friendship Ace. This one digivolves from a level 6 blue Digimon for the cost of 3, or a Gabumon for the cost of 3 if you have 2 or fewer security. It's got the on play when digivolving. Return 2 of your opponent's Digimon with as many or fewer Digivolution cards as its Digimon to the bottom of the deck. It also has the one attacking effect of if you have a Tamer, this Digimon unsuspends with Overflow 5. Okay, so hot take, I think the BT6 version of this card is actually way better. The one Digivolving effect is kind of mediocre in a Bond deck, as really you're going to have 1 or 2 sources unless you're looping the Greymon. So really you're just only balancing level 5 anyway, and it's 2 level 5s, which I guess is the same effect as the BT6 Bonds when attacking. Okay, that's kind of neat. Again, it can do multiple swings, so that's also a plus, but I don't really see you running this in a Bond deck. I think the real benefit of this is actually in a generic blue deck as a boss monster. I'm choosing to treat this card like Blitz Omni, but for specifically blue. Like, just imagine it, as the top end for Source Strip, your opponent will almost always have less sources than you, so you just go into this guy and bounce your entire opponent's board. It allows you to swing twice using the blue effect of just unsuspending a whole bunch. I just think it's kind of hard to justify in a Bond focused deck. As a generic blue card, it's fantastic. Still sauce though. Our next ace is the yellow level 6 Scrambles Maid Mode Ace, which digivolves from level 5 for a cost of 3, has the alternate digivolution cost from digivolving from a Scrambles for a cost of 1. It's got the on play when digivolving, replace 1 yellow Tamer card or a single color option with a cost of 5 or less from your hand to your top security. All turns, when an option card is used or a security card is added, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6k DP for the turn, and it has Overflow 4. I don't get this card. I get the idea is that if you load your security with an option, the all turns effect will trigger, and then it'll give something minus 6k DP. Okay, that's pretty neat. There are some uses for this card, and Damon Reaper has mentioned that it's great for Kentors for adding stuff like Odin's Breath, Samson, or the obvious choice of Revelation of Light. Speaking of Digimon featured in Revelation of Light, this is just a worse version of Andromon Ace, except it doesn't have the recovery base. I do understand that the all turns effect is for both players, so if your opponent's still playing Yellow Vaccine, oh man, you can really get them good there by popping their board early. Oh, and I guess it can also work for stuff that adds things to the security, like Royal Base. So I guess there are some use cases for it. Personally, I don't understand it, but fellow case hunters say that this card is sauce, so I'm just gonna listen to them, and if they're wrong, don't blame me, blame them. Sauce. Our next ace wants you to achieve inner peace, at least if you're playing it. If your opponents see you run it, I don't think they're gonna like you as much. That's right, we're talking about the level 6 green ace, Shivamon, which digivolves from a level 5 for the cost of 3, or a level 5 Pulsemon in text for the cost of 3 as well. It's got the on play when digivolving. If you have 3 or more security, suspend 1 Digimon, and one of your Digimon gains plus 3k to the end of your opponent's turn. If you have 3 or fewer, return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to the bottom of their deck. It has the all turns effect, while this Digimon is suspended, isn't affected by your opponent's Digimon effects, with the Overflow 4. Oh, Pulsemon, you stick to your gimmick and you stick with it well. But with this card specifically, I don't think it's ideal for a Pulsemon focused deck. The 3 or more effect to suspend a body and give something 3k is nice, but it doesn't really help too much with the whole Pulsemon game plan, whereas I think the more benefit you can get from this card is in a Tyrant focused deck, as it is still an insectoid, and it allows you to suspend a body, suspend itself for Tyrant to give a DP boost. Oh, and then while suspended, it isn't affected by your opponent's Digimon effect, which is a great bonus. I don't think you should run more than 2 of these in Tyrant, but it's definitely sauce. Okay, so small addendum, this card's actually lost only because we have the EX8 Hercules Kabuterimon coming out in literally a couple weeks, and that card is infinitely better in my opinion. Unless you're playing Tyrant for Nationals, this card immediately gets outclassed and replaced. So for the next 3 weeks, it's sauce, but after that, it goes to like a loss rating, because why would you run that over the Hercules, which I think is just a little better, and is able to go into turn 2 Tyrant for literally 3 memory if your opponent has a wide enough board. The next ace we're going to be talking about is our level 5 black ace, Cyberdramon. It has the on play when digivolving, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. You may play a black Tamer with the cost of 4 or less from them without paying the cost. Return the rest to the top or bottom of your deck. Then if you have a Tamer, de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. With the inheritable, when attacking, once per turn, de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. And it has the overflow cost of 3. To all my gamblers out there, this is a card straight for your hearts. It allows you to run the roulette and get a tamer out and then play it out. And if you whiff, you're okay as long as you have a tamer out to get that DDG Evolve effect. So to all my hardcore gamblers, if you think that tamer's in those top 5, go for it. But for my more conservative gamblers that want to see if they can get more and another tamer out, that's fine too. You can set the DDG Evolve off of that. While it is a really good ace, I do wish it did a little bit more, like have a DDG Evolve and then say pop a 5 cost or less, because right now as it stands, it doesn't really stop a swing for game. But I guess they're trying to make it more balanced because it has that amazing inherit to just do a DDG Evolve when attacking, which we've seen do wonders in decks to Goromon. Also, by checking your top 5, you're able to rig it to either put it back on top if those are useful cards for you, or slide them to the bottom if nothing you need is there. So it's actually an effective way to just filter through your deck. Honestly, between both this and Mega Dramon, having the on attack when Digivolve is just very powerful. And with the new Justimon cards coming out in BT19 as well as in EX8, I can see this card getting a lot of use in that deck. Strike 'em dead, Cyberdramon. This card is definitely sauce. And the last of our new aces is our level 6 purple and red ace, Magidramon, which digivolves from a purple or red level 5 for the cost of 4, or a level 5 Gromon in name for the cost of 3. It's got the on play when digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 11,000 DP or less. All turns, when this Digimon leaves the battle area, by playing one Guillemon from its Digivolution cards or from your trash without paying the cost. If this effect played, place this Digimon as that Guillemon's bottom source. It also has the inheritable all turns, add 5,000 to this Digimon's DP deletions effects maximums. And it also has the rule text, name treated as Chaos Gallantmon, with the overflow cost of 4. The deletion effect isn't bad, a single target 11k pop is good, and with Gallantmon's many ways to add to the deletion threshold, it can get up there. The floating effect I think is really funny, as it allows you to play a Guillemon and then attach to the ace as a source, getting around the overflow initially. And assuming your Guillemon doesn't immediately die, the 5k inherit is insane, as if you digivolve up into EX3 Gromon, you can pop an AK Digimon. Aside from the obvious synergy with Gallantmon, this does act as Heavy Metal Dramon support, as Magidramon is in fact an evil dragon, and Heavy Metal Dramon needs all the support it can get. I can only see this card's value going up more and more, as we've seen all the new Gallantmon support coming out in BT19, EX8 as well. This might be worth running as a 1 or a 2 of. Definitely sauce. And now onto the Scramble cards, which I'm going to lump in together because they're just all the same cards but for their own unique colors. They all have the use cost of 2, with the main effect, you may digivolve one of your Digimon for a reduced cost of 3 for that color, and then place this card into your battle area. They have the delay effect, start of your turn, turning one of those colored Digimon from your trash to the top of your deck. Then if you have no Digimon on your field, you may play a Digimon with 2k DP or less from your trash without paying the cost. It has the security effect, you may play one blue Digimon with 2k DP or less from your trash without paying the cost, then add this card to your hand. Are these cards worth it? In my opinion, I would say yes. While the main effect occupies the same space as a training card, except you get one more in terms of Digivolution reduction, I think the real benefit comes from the delay effect. One of the worst things that ever happens in a game is that your opponent just completely board clears you, leaves you with nothing left on field or anything in racing, launch a counterattack, so you just hatch and pass, and then that's really it, and then the game's over. This, though, can help you get around that, as you can return a card to your top of your deck and then draw into it almost like, you know, a Destiny drop. Then hard play a Digimon that has 2k or less, which is typically a Searcher or some other body, then start mounting a counterattack. I'm sure some decks will take more advantage of this than others, but I can definitely see the benefits of having this, and I like the inclusion of having a just generic comeback mechanic for all colors to take advantage of. While I don't see you running more than 1 or 2 of these in a deck, I do think they are definitely a good inclusion, and they are 100% sauce. And our last bunch of staple cards are the new dual color Memboost, which allow you to search out for 2 colors and grab one of them, basically just replacing the old school single color Memboost, but now allowing you to have a bit more flexibility for those multicolored decks. Our color combinations that we have are red and black, blue and red, yellow and purple, green and blue, black and yellow, and purple and green. Now I think this is a great idea, allowing you to get a bit more consistency with those multicolored decks, as I know for sure Omnimon's going to be running that Wisteria Memory Boost to search out blue and red, as well as stuff like Z Millenniummon can actually take advantage of Garnet Memory Boost because everything in that line is either red or black. The obvious one being like Amber Memory Boost being used for any yellow and purple deck, so Mastermon gets more consistency there. The Jade Memory Boost being used for stuff like Imperial Dramon, just in case you need a little more consistency, you know? It also works for Exomon, and let me have this, Exomon deserves it. Sepia Mem Boost would have been perfect for Nuemon, but that slug got shot down, so no one's really playing that anymore. But it also adds consistency to stuff like Metal Edamon. Great Memory Boost is great, allow you to have more consistency for mixed versions of the Terriermon deck that either run green stuff and the purple stuff, so allows us to synergize that and run maybe Tribimon in a Rabidmon deck. But overall, I think the inclusion of all these cards are fantastic, and I wonder if next year around this time we'll be seeing dual color trainings. Who knows? But overall, all these cards are sauce. So to wrap things up, is this worth it? I'm going to have to say yes, but only for people who really need those staple cards. Otherwise, you're not going to get the most benefit out of this because a lot of these stuff is getting also reprinted. Like all the Scramble cards are available for you in the new structure decks that are coming out in April. So if you can hold off and that's the only thing you want from this, just wait 4 months. You're not going to be missing out on too much. Oh, and I almost completely forgot. There are also the box toppers, which is one of the 3 EX7 Musketeers. Unless you're like a Musketeer fiend, I don't think it's justifiable to buy a box for that. Hope the singles are out there for cheap. As of right now, this is the only way to get the dual color memory boost and all those new aces as well. So if you need any of those cards, it might be worth getting those or getting singles instead. The reprints I'm most confused about, but again, more copies of DeathX and Ruin Mode out in the wild are always a good thing. So if you need those, it might be worth getting for that. You really don't need those TP stuff. Like honestly, I don't know why Bandai included those. They just wanted to kind of give it away as a nice shiny cards, I guess, but really those aren't the cards that you need. Overall, I do think this set is worth getting if you need half of these cards or more, like myself and other case hunters do. But aside from that, it might be worth saving the money for and hoping to get something else down the line. I also do know this set was also kind of short printed, as a lot of our local game stores didn't get a whole lot of allocation. In that regard too, singles might be kind of hard to get. Overall, I will have to give this set a passing grade. If you know a Digimon fan that wants it, it might be worth it for them. But overall, this gets a thumbs up.